everybody, it's your girl Asia Stateward with two T's, aka Miss Lbrs. And today we talking about something a little bit more serious, something that really affects our community, and it's going on in Missouri. And I just feel like possibly other states are going to adapt this new statute or law or whatever they want to call it. So I got my boy Emmanuel on the show. A little bit about him. Well, first we went to UCD together, so that's one of the main reasons why right here. And secondly, he's an educator. But you know what? Let me let you tell them about yourself.
How you doing, everyone? My name is Emmanuel Price. I attended Hampton University, where I received my degree in English secondary education. I'm currently pursuing my master's in urban education with an emphasis in teaching English as a second language. I currently teach at Burgard Vocational High School, 9th, 10th, and 11th grade in Buffalo, New York. That's a little bit about me.
And I thought he would be perfect for this show because not only is he from St. Louis, but like I said, he's an educator, so he can give his opinion, a young black educator, and he can give his opinion on, you know, how he feel about what we're going to talk about. So recently, the state of Missouri has created a new law where if you fight in school or if you bully someone, you will be charged with a felony, a Class E felony. And this has went viral. A lot of different news stations have picked it up, and it's really making people feel some type of way. I know it makes me feel extremely uncomfortable to know that a fight can result in someone's life being ruined with a felony. So that's what we're gonna talk about today. So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, as an educator, the first thing that came to my mind was it just puts me in a tough spot as an educator if I was in Missouri. I say I have a great student, well, everyone's a great student, but say I have a student that always goes above and beyond. They get into one fight. How do I go to administration to explain to them that this student just fought? And now this decreases their chances of succeeding in life now, because this one fight can ruin the rest of their future. In Missouri, I know that fights were previously misdemeanors, or you got an assault charge, a minor assault charge, which doesn't result in jail time. As I was reading, this Class E felony could result up into 4 years in jail.
The max you can get for a Class E felony is 4 years. 4 years.
So this kid can be a freshman. You're telling me that I can put this kid away from the age of 14 to 18, their whole high school career, which is going to ruin their mindset and their whole outlook on life. So it just puts me in a rock and a hard place as an educator. Do I always go to administration when a kid fights, or do I just ignore it? But then that gives off the notion to the rest of the students, oh, we can fight and Mr. Price not going to tell. So it just puts these educators in tough spots on what they should do in certain situations. And that was the first thing that came to my mind when I read up on this.
Well, I agree with you as well. And the first thing that came to my mind when I read it, I'm like, okay, this is another way to criminalize African American students. Because when you think about it from the fighting aspect, the only people, not the only, but the majority who will be affected by this is black students. Black students will be affected by this. If this was around when I was, you know, in middle school or elementary school or whatever, because I got into 2 fights, you know what I'm saying, back in those days. And it was just little, you know, little fights or whatever. But just to think that I could have been charged, which means with a felony, which means you cannot vote. You cannot get financial aid, you cannot go to the military, and the chances of you getting a job are very low. I mean, I don't know what I would have done. So I really do think this is a way to criminalize our black youth. And it's just, with the gun law, you know, the new gun law, and this, I just feel like they are really just continuously tearing down our community. And I think instead of dealing with the issues that we're facing, they just keep doing stuff like this. Like, what is giving a kid a felony gonna do? What is that gonna solve the issue? How is that gonna solve the issue?
And the problem I think is going to turn into charging these kids with felonies could possibly lead over to the increasing of what they're trying to prevent, which is bullying. Because you're gonna have a few kids that they're gonna fight regardless. So, but then you're gonna have that kid always in the back of his mind, oh, I could go to jail for 4 years, you know, if I fight in school. So he's going to back down. But to everybody else, it's going to look like he's weak or he's soft. So it's going to increase bullying in the schools, and I really think it's going to take it to astronomical levels that we've never seen before within the school, because a lot of kids are going to back down from those fights. Kids who would have fought before because they knew they would get suspended for a few days and be able to come back. But now kids are going to be shying down from those fights, and it's just going to cause a lot more verbal altercations, I think, which are going to disrupt the classroom. So I think things like that, they're not really paying attention to the, after effects it is going to have on the learning environment.
So another argument that I know people have been making, I was talking to one of my mentors, and she was saying this is what it's going to take for kids to understand, teach them about their actions. Maybe they'll think before they do things. And my thing is this the type of punishment that we want to give them to make them think about their actions? Are we trying to ruin their lives? Is this the way we have to teach them to obey in the classroom? Is this the way we have to teach them to not fight, and fighting is not the answer, by ruining their life or potentially giving them a felony? Is this the way? So some people think that it's going to help.
Me personally, I don't understand how this could help, because it's not like, I still wouldn't agree with it, but I would somewhat understand it if it was like a set-up system where fifth offense in school, you fought 5 times in a year, and this happened. But there's nowhere in, the law that says that. So this could happen on the first time that a kid gets into a fight. This could be his first fight of his life, and you're telling him he has to go to jail for 4 years. Or
some type of jail. That's ridiculous.
You're telling this kid that he could possibly never get a job that pays 6 figures, or even close to it. You're telling him he has to work minimum wage jobs for a long time. He's never going to be able to get financial aid. This kid could be, he could be on a free lunch program at high school, and now he can't even get financial aid for college. So you just made it 300 times harder for this student to, move on to the next level in his life.
And like the question that I'm going to keep asking, and the question that I'm going to ask you guys, because we definitely want your response. So definitely comment on here, right on the page, use the hashtag Lbrs. Who is this affecting? Like, really, who is this affected? And my answer is affecting black students, because I strongly do believe that if this happens in a predominantly white school or area, I just do think the rules are going to be bent. I just do not see white kids getting felonies for fighting or bullying. Now, my opinion on the bullying thing is a little bit different than it is on the fighting. I honestly do feel like bullying has went entirely too far. I hate bullies. I am anti-bullying completely. I think bullying is completely unacceptable. And I do, especially when kids have killed themselves from bullies. You know what I'm saying? The suicide rate is high just based off of kids being bullied. And I think that's absolutely ridiculous. And I do think there needs to be something implemented where bullies are dealt with. Now, do I think that it needs to be to the extent of a felony? No, but that is something I do think that students will be more careful about bullying, because they don't want to get a felony, get charged. I think that that's something. But fighting, if you have to defend yourself, you have to defend yourself. Because at the end of the day, if it was me, if you hit me, you hit me. You just gotta. It's just as simple as that. Like, that's the part that bothers me when it comes to the self-defense part.
So, like you said, when it comes to the self-defense part, this also puts the parents in a tough spot. Because how do you tell your child, you get hit at school, don't fight back? Yeah. Just stand there. And then that wraps right back around to the bullying. Now, as a parent, I'm dealing with my kid getting bullied at school because, a kid hit him and he didn't do anything because he was scared for what can happen afterwards. So now this puts the parents in a tough spot. How do you raise your child to not defend themselves in the school area? When I was reading the law, this only is in effect on school grounds, at the school bus stop, and on the school bus. So now you put the kid in the position, we're just going to fight off school grounds. But then they can still get arrested for assault.
Yep.
So now you just put these kids in tough positions. They can never, they wouldn't know what to do. And which I said, it'll increase bullying in school, and a lot of parents wouldn't know how to deal with that. I feel like going to be a big solution if people all get on board to do that. And that's up to the parents and the people in the community, though, to start holding these teachers accountable, because it was a big thing, you know, when I was in school. My parents were very involved, and they saw if a teacher, you know, wasn't doing their job, they held their teacher accountable. They didn't go up there and cuss them out or anything like that, but they sat down and talked to this teacher. They sat down and asked the teacher what they were doing, what their goals were. They tried to feel the teacher on how the teacher viewed the students. And now as an educator, I see why. I really think this is going to be bad, because when I'm in meetings with teachers and everything like that, you constantly hear the way they talk about the students. And a lot of these teachers aren't going to care that they are putting these kids away for a long time. Oh, he wasn't doing anything anyway. He barely came to school. That kid wasn't connecting with you. You weren't reaching them as an educator. So, of course, they were off task. Nothing you did in the classroom related to how they felt, related to their knowledge base. They didn't know anything you were talking about. So, of course, they acted out sometimes here and there. Oh, so those teachers are going to take their frustration out on that kid not doing exactly what they said by, you know, going to administration. Well, I saw them fighting by the school bus. Next thing you know, this student's expelled from school. He gets a jail sentence of 2 years, and the rest of his life is ruined, all because this teacher, who didn't care about the well-being of the student, wanted to go to administration. And I think that's going to, those things like that are going to heighten. We're really going to see what these educators are about when it comes to this law. Each school needs to host a parent meeting in that first week of school to notify them, because this law is that serious. This is not just a new school rule they implement. If you fight, you get 180 days. Because what wheels like that in your city, you fall, you get 180 days.
Depending on the severity of the fight.
So, this is not like that, even though parents should be notified on that. But this possibly affects your kids the rest of their life. This goes with them everywhere they go. So each school district or school personally should hold a meeting. They should bring in someone from the state who can explain this law in detail to everyone, because we're not getting details right now. We're just getting the overall, because you know when in laws it's 20 different pieces to each law. So we're not getting all the details. We're getting, you know, the overall summary of what the law can.
Every teacher for the first week of school, the kids need to be like, okay, if we fight, we know, the kids need to be like, oh, we get it. They need to be annoyed. It needs to be signs on the school, around the school about this. And that's how serious it is. And that's what I fear, that the educators, the administration is not going to take it that serious. It's just, oh, it's just another law. No, you need to put this in these kids' heads. If you got to make PowerPoint presentations, demonstrations, have police officers come into the school.
Creating the laws. So we have to get out there and vote. And what this law actually does is it decreases the amount of people that are going to vote. Because if we're charging these kids with felonies, that decreases the amount of people that can vote. So people don't really think about things like this, but they're really trying to take away the black vote.
The black vote, the black voice, the black community, the black population, the black everything. Like, everything they're trying to do, and it's like we cannot allow them to do that. So the first part of not allowing this to happen is educating yourself. So we know what's up. We know. So now it's time to create a plan, which is simply being involved in your community. If you don't have kids in the district, it doesn't matter. Still vote in your community. Still go to the meetings. Still be involved. Because like I said, them your tax dollars that's paying for that stuff in the district. So definitely still be involved. And just help our young people. Make sure you share your opinions with us, guys. You can go on our website, www.lbrsshow.com. You can go to the social pages. You can comment below. Like, I really want to know your thoughts, and share this. Let people know what's going on, even if they're not in this state. We need all the help we can get to get this law up out of here. And like you said, it takes time. So thanks for watching. I'm Asia Say What with 2 T's.
Emmanuel Price.
And Proud.